Okay, hello everybody and welcome to IEC 101. This is our March the 10th Blackboard Collaborate, except we're on Zoom today and you get to see my full face in my office, and as you can see I like color. I'm very big on colors, so welcome to my office. Miss Bonnie is here this morning and we have our interpreters in the background who are with us coming from Newtown. And so I just want to welcome Adrian and Elena and Miss Bonnie to begin to talk about where we're going. Okay, so the good news is that Friday began spring break.
Woo!
Yes, I'm excited. Which also means that today I have put in your midterm grades in PeopleSoft. So hopefully you are on the up and up and you have made it through with a passing grade, which to me passing is a B or above. I don't like C's and I prefer you to make A's. So if you're not at an A mark, I really want you to put a little bit more effort and come on and let's get that A in. That's what we're doing. But spring break is a time for you to take off and to rest, rejuvenate, and spend some time with your family or your people that you want to spend some time with. I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend time with my dogs, number one, spend time with my mom, number two, and number three, I've got Asaison and Everett, my two little great nephews that I am going to definitely spend some time with and see if I can't take them someplace. But with the virus going on, we are trying something different here to prepare us that if we do have to go totally online, that we're ready and able to make sure that your learning process after spring break continues and that we pilot toward May the 5th when we end this class and we come out victorious and successful. And that is our goal through this whole process, that you stay safe, number one, healthy, number two, and number three, that you are successful in your class. BCTC is really, really putting forth efforts to make sure all their students are successful in their class, and I'm behind that 100%. And I know you all know that, but I just want to reiterate that to you. But I do want to say this. In order for me to make sure that you're successful, you have to communicate with me. Communication is a two-way street. It's not just about Miss Maria communicating to you, but it's about you communicating to me and being very honest with me about things that are happening in your life, and so that I can coach you and say, I need you to do this, I need you to do this. And it's not because I'm trying to be mean, but I'm trying to follow protocol to make sure that I'm fair all the way across the board with students, but also to make sure that I'm taking care of you as a student to meet your needs. So if your grandma dies 5 times, I'm going to get it, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. You got to be honest with me. Your grandma doesn't die 5 times, and neither does your cat. So you got to be honest with me. That's what I'm asking, honesty. And two, the thing about that is that we are preschool teachers, and we have to be honest and have integrity. And that our word is our integrity. And I want to tell you a story about that. And I'm doing this on purpose. But when I was a director, and I was a director for 11 years of my own center, and I had a teacher, she wouldn't tell me the truth about how much bleach she put in the water to make bleach solution. So I would have to test her water almost every day and say, You didn't put enough bleach in it, or you put too much bleach in it. And finally I said to her, I said, why can't you just be honest with me and tell me you don't know how to make the water instead of saying you do? And then it got to be, she wasn't telling me the truth about children's abilities in her class, like can they cut with scissors? The answer to that is yes or no. But she would make it up that they could do more than they could. Then it came down to, after 6 months, a child said that she hit him. And I could not believe her when she said, I didn't, Miss Maria. And I had to fire her and let her go for abuse based on the child's word. And when it came down to social services, when I turned it in, I said to social services, I can't believe her. So your word is your integrity. And as you grow in your integrity and you grow in what you say as a teacher, it's going to follow you like a paper trail. So we have to practice being full of integrity and honest as we move through this process, because it may come down. I mean, little kids, let's face it, they do tell lies. As much as we love them, they get the truth all scrambled up like a bunch of scrambled eggs. And your director's got to be able to believe you. Your principal has to be able to believe you. And it's part of our ethical code of conduct for us to make sure that we are professional in our word and our integrity. Okay? All right, so we are moving out of competency goal 1. Remember, has 3 parts to it. The first part was safe, then it was healthy. The next part of that goal is healthy learning environments, or establishing a learning environment for the children. So your competency goal is to provide a safe, healthy learning environment. That's your third one. Okay, so in your competency goal, you've written a statement about being safe. How are you going to do that? And one of the things that I've noticed when you guys are doing your assignments is that you're putting in your competency statements, I will do this, I will do this, I will make sure the children are safe, I will make sure that the children are eating healthy foods, I'm going to be making sure. Well, that is future tense. And when you go to test for your CDA, and your CDA specialist is coming in to watch you and to read your notebook, she or he is going to kick out your notebook and say, your statements are incorrect because they are in the future. We don't want our statements to be in the future. We want them to be in the present tense. So we want to be able to say, I am making sure that my children are eating healthy foods by abiding by the state regulations. So if you've done that, and I've noted that in your assignment box, please go back and begin to change that. And as we move forward in writing our competency statements, make sure that we're writing those in present tense. So Unit 3 is about establishing that environment, actually how to set up the classroom. What does it look like? How many toys do we need? What types of toys do we need? Your book comes at it from a very developmentally appropriate practice, DAP approach. But I have also incorporated the fact that we're using the quality enhancement rating scales, improvement scales in Kentucky, the EDRs, the ECHRs, and the ITERs. And so within those two, depending on if you're in an infant toddler room or you're in a preschool room, it's going to depend on what those scales say that we need to have in our classroom. And obviously those scales are built on DAP, but they add a little bit more to it. So our book is giving you the developmentally appropriate practice view, but the scales are giving you a higher view of what a learning environment should look like in a 5-star preschool classroom. And that should be our goal. Our goal should be that 5-star classroom. So if you look in your book on page 77, you're going to see a floor plan. And that floor plan is actually giving you what I said, a developmentally appropriate practice approach to how you set up a classroom. Now, it doesn't mean that your classroom needs to be this exact rectangle and you need to place items in that floor plan exactly like this book. What I want you to think about in your head is, how can I take this developmentally appropriate practice model of a floor plan and actually think about why they have placed certain items in certain positions within this floor plan. And let me give you an example of that. Look at the Art Center. The Art Center is next to the Book Center. From my experience in working with the ITERs and the ECHRs, I can't even talk this morning. I'm going to say, man, I would really question that because of this reason. And this is how when I go into a room and I eye a preschool room, I say, what's the quiet areas and what's the noisy areas? Okay, so you've got books backed up to blocks. Blocks is a noisy area. Books is a quiet area. Art can be noisy at times. It can also be quiet at times. So when I'm looking at this classroom, I'm thinking, what is the teacher thinking about this layout? So the next thing that I would do, I wouldn't make judgment like that. What I would do is I would go to the limits, the center rules, and I would begin to look at those classroom limits that are posted. If in fact the Art Center is deemed a quiet zone, then I would say it is appropriate to be next to the book area, because it's definitely a quiet zone. Correct? Does that make sense? If in fact the teacher has not deemed the Art Center a quiet zone, and you have to have so many quiet zones within the rating scale, up to 3 or 4 in the classroom. So if it's not deemed a quiet zone, then I would question the teacher as to say, what are your thoughts about this? Because we've got a quiet zone here and a noisy zone, and then a noisy zone right behind it. So you're going to begin to learn in this unit, you're going to begin to learn how to think strategically about why you are placing centers in position within your room and the reasoning behind that thought or decision. Your decisions within classroom environments will actually determine what kind of behaviors you have in your classroom. and the learning that happens in your classroom. You are a strategic, integral part of children learning in your classroom because of your strategic decisions that you are going to be making based upon your learning experience as a professional. So I want you to think about that as you read through chapter 3. Think about how strategic can I become as a teacher. Okay, so question number 1 for our 25 points is this. What does Miss Maria want me to learn as I read chapter 3? What is she wanting me to think about? I'm going to write this down because I need to make sure everybody has it that needs it. What does Miss Maria want me to learn or think about as I read chapter 3? Okay, so we are going to be leaving Friday and we're going to be going on spring break. So my second question is what are you going to do on spring break? How are you going to rest? I really want to know that because I want you to plan on how you're going to rest, how you're going to take a break from academia. And the third question that I want to ask you is this. Are you going to come back? Now you're going to laugh at me for asking that question. But I'm going to tell you a statistic. Did you know that over half of failures that happen at the community college level are because students leave on fall break and they leave on spring break and they never come back? And I don't understand that. They do so well. And the majority of you all right now in this class have A's and B's and C's. So the people that have C's need to work for A's, and the people that have B's need to work for A's. And those of you who are failing need to consider talking to me seriously about how we're going to get back on board and finish strong by May the 1st, or we need to withdraw. Those are your options. But for those of you who are here and you have a good grade, you're passing in this course, my question to you is, are you going to come back Monday, March the 23rd? I hope your answer is, well, yeah, Miss Maria, I'm coming back. What are you talking about? Well, like I said, some of you are leaving, you never come back. I don't want you to do that. I want you to come back. I want you to put it in your head. If you have to log it in your phone, I have to go back to class Monday, March the 23rd. Then you do that. You need to be back on board and ready to go, rested, and had all your fun that you need to have, and come back and see me on March the 23rd. And I'm going to expect you to write me an email that says, Miss Maria, I'm back and I'm ready to go. Okay? That's important to me. And from March the 23rd to May the 3rd or 4th, I think is where we're at, you're mine. That means you're going to do your work and you're going to do your homework and you're going to listen and you're going to learn and you're going to finish strong. Because what kind of grade do I expect? I expect an A. I do expect A's. I think that when in fact we put forth our best effort, we are doing it because we love children, not because we want to please Miss Maria or we please our mommies or our parents, our grandmothers, whoever. It's because we love children and we want to be the best for those children. Okay. So, page 80 in your textbook begins to talk to you about each and every center, learning center that is in a child care center. And it also gives you examples of items that you need in every center. However, with that being said, remember this is developmentally appropriate practice, and the ITers will determine what kinds of materials and how many materials that you need in every center, and so will the ECHRs, the preschool environmental rating scale. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Adrian and Elena and ask you about questions. Do you have questions for me?
No questions at the moment, no.
I can't hear you, Adrian.
No questions.
No questions, okay. Elena, can you hear me? You're muted.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, how you doing today?
I'm okay.
Good. Do you have any questions for me?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Well, I mean, you both are top students, so I don't really expect anything less from either one of you.
I'm gonna keep giving it everything I have got.
So, you know, I guess I'm going to put you on the spot here, but you both are excellent students. So, can you maybe give some of your friends in your class maybe some hints on how you keep up with your work, number one, because you both do, and how you think you've been successful?
I mainly try to stay ahead of the work and not get so behind that I can't catch up.
So do you have a certain way that you do that, Adrian?
If I feel like I'm getting stressed out, I step away from my computer for a minute, come back, finish it up, and turn it in. And I try to think of, like, how do you want the work to be? How do you want it worded? How do you want it submitted? That's what I do every time I'm working on the units. I try to think, what do you expect from me? And I give it my all. And what really helps is I helped my mom out with 2 incredible boys. And I see different personalities in each of them, and it helps me in the childcare a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
So when you say that you stay ahead, do you have a checklist or anything like that that you use?
I do. I have a planner in front of me, and I check off everything that needs to be done. I also have a whiteboard that I write everything down, and every time I get it done, I mark it off.
You sound like Miss
And
Maria.
and reminders on my phone and computer. I just constantly keep reminders going.
So you use technology to remind you too.
I do, yes.
That's cool. You know, I'm just finishing my doctorate, so you all will be probably calling me Dr. Maria in less than a month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
Yes, that's awesome.
So, you know, just keeping a full-time job and being able to teach and then, you know, do all the advocacy that I do because I'm a CASA worker. And I have 3 cases that I'm working on for the court system, on top of being president of Casey.
Mhm.
I have to stay organized. Plus, you know, I have a family. And like I said, I have Everett and Esiason that I want to spend time with. Plus, Judah, he definitely demands my time, he and Jada, my dogs.
Oh, so does my little baby girl, Maggie May, who everybody wants to steal.
Yeah. So, you know, I always say, you know, I have to stay organized, and that's what I do. I have a planner, and I say, I do what's called a brain dump on Sunday,
Mhm.
and a brain dump for the week. It means everything I have to do, I write it down. And then as I do them, I check them off. So I use that check mark list, but it really helps me get it out, put it on there, and then I don't stress about what I have to do. It's on the list, so I just do it. And it's like eating a mountain one bite at a time.
Mhm.
As I check it off, it's gone. It's done. So I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it moves like that. So really good. Those are great study habits.
Yeah.
You keep that up because that will take you far.
I absolutely will.
Yeah. Elena, you have anything you want to share?
I use a planner too. I can't do it on my phone. I don't know why. So I use the planner, and then like you, I try to do one thing at a time. And as soon as it's done, I check it off, I send it in. To stay on top of everything is hard. You really just have to have the motivation to do it. Just have to keep thinking to yourself, I want this, whether it's your CDA or your associates or your doctorate. Just have, this is what I want, and I'm going to get it. Because I have my 2 boys and my daughter and my fiance, and my mom just got re-diagnosed with cancer.
I'm sorry.
It's hard to stay on top of everything, but it's doable as long as you try.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I went through mom having cancer too, and I know that's hard. It's hard for us to be caregivers and go to school and manage all the things that we have to, and that's why communication is so important.
Yes. Now, next month might be a little tricky because I will be looking for a new cousin next month. She's coming next month, but I will keep the ball going.
Yes, and you have to, and Elena made a great point when she said, you know, you have to put your dream right in front of you, and you have to dream that dream. And there are days when I've said, I'm done with this doctorate. I can't work on this paper any longer. I can't research. I just don't. I'm tired. I get frustrated, and I think about This is my carrot. I think about what it's going to feel like to put my doctoral robe on and my hat and look at myself. And, or what it's going to feel like when I defend my dissertation and my chair says, I crown you Dr. Maria. So it's those little thoughts and those little perceptions in my brain, it's not arrogance. It's like, this is my dream and I'm going to do it. So I picture it, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to sound like, what I'm going to hear, and how I'm going to feel. And it keeps me motivated. It keeps me motivated to move toward the mark of my dream. And dreams are important. Walt Disney said, if you can't dream it, you can't live it.
Exactly.
And it's true. So you may be at the beginning of getting your CDA, or you may be at getting your associate's degree, and you may say, I'm going to be done at my associate degree. But you never know what doors are going to open for you when you walk through the threshold of receiving that degree. And you don't know the bridges of opportunities that it's going to give you. I never really believed that until my master professor, when I was at Regent University in Virginia Beach, he looked at me and he said, Maria, when you get your master's, it's going to open up a whole new life for you. Your life is going to be so different. And I thought at that particular point, well, I'll be a principal, because that's what I wanted to be at that point. And that's what I had gone back to work on my master's, was to become a elementary principal and a preschool principal. And so that's what I thought he was talking about. And I did become a principal. But I'd never dreamed that I would become a community college professor. And so when this door of opportunity opened up for me and I stepped into it, I couldn't believe how happy I was. And now that I'm 13 years into that, I can't tell you, education opens up some of the most wonderful opportunities.
Yes.
And don't ever let go of your dreams, no matter what they are.
Right.
And I still have dreams. I want to write a textbook. I want to write several textbooks, but I definitely want to write a CDA textbook. That's one of my dreams. One of my other dreams is to be a speaker on a national level for early childhood. And I want to do some research on adverse childhood experiences. So I've got a lot of things to do even after I finish my doctorate. My dreams don't stop. You can't ever stop dreaming, because if you stop dreaming, you stop living.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to let you all go
Okay.
and just tell you to have a great spring break.
You too.
I will. All right.
All right.
Thank you all and have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See, I'm going to